And we're very delighted to have joining us from Tucson, Arizona, is Ayla Moreno. Ayla, good morning and welcome to our show. It's a little bit early there in Tucson, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
It's about 8 o'clock there in the morning,
Yeah.
something like that. Yes. So you were born in Tucson and you began studying the violin and the piano at the age of 3. You picked up both instruments. And did you play both instruments for a while, or did you finally decide on the piano?
I'm still playing both instruments.
But at the concert at the Weill Recital Hall, you played the piano.
Yes.
Are you? We're going to get to your piano playing in a minute, but are you're still studying the violin?
Yes.
And what kind of repertoire do you have on the violin?
I'm currently working on the Mendelssohn Violin Concerto, the third movement, as well as learning the notes for the Wieniawski Scherzo Turntile.
Have you performed on the violin in public yet?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. But you're here as a pianist because you performed at the Weill and piano. Now you started studying the piano and violin at the age of 3. At age 6, you gave a public concert with the Tucson Civic Orchestra, and you played a piece called the Berkovich Piano Concerto. So that means in 3 years you went from chopsticks, or maybe you played little scales, all the way to performing a concerto. That's a rather astonishing growth in 3 years. How did that progress? How did that? And who was your first teacher?
My teacher was Dr. Svetlana Arakelova, but now it's Dr. Kinson Choi.
And so you started lessons when you were 3. Now your parents must have had something to do with that.
Yes, my mom also plays the piano, so she taught me a little bit of the piano when I was little, and then I started taking lessons after that.
So from the age of 3 to 6, a lot happened in 3 years, and I've always been fascinated. How, when did it occur to your mother that maybe you had some gift, a gift?
Um, like probably when I think when I was around the age of 2, I was just going up to the piano and just like banging notes on it. And I would always listen to my mom practicing. And I think my mom just thought I wanted to try to play the piano. So she like taught me a little bit. And that got me to like learn the piano, I think. So,
Right.
yeah.
So when did you start playing pieces like the? I'm sure you played the well-tempered clavier, the C major prelude, the one that everybody knows. How old were you when you know that piece? Uh, when,
Yes.
when
Um,
did when were you able to play that piece?
like around 4 or 5-ish.
I see. Yeah. And now it says in your resume that when you were 10 years old, you played. I thought maybe this was a misprint, but it said that you played the Prokofiev Third Piano Concerto in public with the Tucson Philharmonia Youth Orchestra at the age of 10. Now that's a very demanding piece, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so, when did you start learning that piece?
Um, I started learning it when I was like around 9.
And you were playing it when you were 10?
Yeah.
Well, I think we have a very gifted young lady here, because that's one of my favorite pieces, and I'm sure you've heard a lot of performances of it. There's a performance by Martha Argerich, which is quite stunning, and all the great pianists play it, but it has an ending which is just it takes the roof off the building, if you know what I mean. It's a really virtuoso piece, and now you're at the advanced age of, I think you said you were 13.
Yes.
Yeah, so you're really the advanced for you. That's an advanced age because you you've been playing such a at a virtuosic level. What pieces are you learning now?
Now I am working on the Tchaikovsky Piano Concerto. Um, and I'm also learning the Chopin Ocean Etude as well as Chopin Butterfly Etude. And then I'm doing the Scriabin Etude as well. And I'm also learning a Chopin Scherzo. And I am like reviewing a Beethoven sonata too. So
Oh, yes. Now, don't tell me that you can play the Rachmaninoff third.
um, I can play the Rachmaninoff too.
Okay, but one of these days you'll get around to the third. Well, that's quite remarkable. Now, I was just watching before this interview started. I was watching the very beginning of your performance of the Rachmaninoff second, and I can't recall what orchestra that was with, but that's on YouTube, and that's the of course the piece that begins with the piano solo, right? And I could tell just from watching the first 2 3 minutes that you're very gifted because you played that beautifully. It's not that it's so difficult technically, but it's every even a scale is hard to play to do it with feeling, and you performed that very beautifully. So
Thank you.
that's really wonderful. Now, at the concert on the 24th, or the 24th, you chose to play a piece. Where did it go? You decided to play the last movement of the B minor sonata by Chopin. And why did you choose that piece?
I chose that piece because it was one of my strongest pieces I felt at that time. And like I already performed it a lot and I felt very confident with it. But I also loved the piece. Like I love how it like builds up every section and like I really like it. So I was just like, I'll just perform this.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it went very well. So that's wonderful. And what performances do you have coming up in the future that we might look forward to?
Um, well, next week I have a competition, and then after that I have a concert for a gala thing, and I'm gonna be playing duets with one of my teacher's other students, as well as some solo pieces. So yeah.
And what competition?
It is the Civic Orchestra competition in Tucson.
Oh, it's a competition for the Civic Orchestra. Yeah. And so, what grade are you in,
I'm in
Ayla?
eighth grade.
In the eighth grade. Yeah. And do you think you'll pursue a career in music, or do you think you'll maybe find you think a career in music?
Yes.
I see. Are you familiar with a radio program called From the Top?
Yeah.
Have you been on From the Top?
No.
Are you going to apply?
Maybe.
Yeah. Yes, I have a long association with that program, and I'm sure they'd be very delighted to get your tape. So I hope you'll send in to From the Top. It's a beautiful radio program. It's been around for a quarter of a century, 25 years.
Wow.
Yeah, long before you were born. So it's a very good program. And so, what are your future plans? Where would you like to go to school, to college?
I'm not really sure yet, but I definitely want to go to a music school, and I'm not sure. I do want to continue with both piano and violin, but I might have to just pick one in the future. But that's going to be very hard for me because I like them both. But yeah,
Well, here's an idea, Ayla. Why don't you go into a studio and pick a violin sonata, piano and violin, and play both parts. You first you play the piano, and then you can add the violin later. Do you think you could do
yeah,
that? Have you
yeah,
thought about that? Have you thought about that?
no,
I can't recall anybody doing that. I'm sure somebody has, but do you think it would be fun to do that?
yeah,
So you could pick a Beethoven, as I don't have to tell you, wrote some violin sonatas, very beautiful, and you could do one of those on both parts. I think you should try that. When I come to Tucson in March, I'll see if you've done that yet. Will you be playing in Tucson in March, do you think?
I think so, but yeah,
I'll find out. I'll find out because I'm going to track you down. I want to, because I'll be there for a week in March and I want to hear you play. Well, Ayla Moreno in Tucson, it's delightful to have you. I see you're sitting right at the piano there.
yes.
Anything quick you can play really quickly?
I'm not really warmed up yet, and like in the stage of learning the pieces.
I see.
So I'm
Okay.
sorry. But
Well, I won't ask you to play the last movement of the Chopin because you've already done that, the B minor sonata. Yeah, I didn't want to put you on the spot. Well, thank you very much. You're a delightful young lady. and obviously very, very gifted. And I would urge anyone watching this to go to YouTube, and as I'm going to do, and watch that performance of the second Rachmaninoff. And all you have to do is put in Ayla Moreno, and it comes right up as piano, and there you go. Well, good luck, and I hope you'll pursue both instruments, and I hope you'll do a recording of a sonata of your choice, where you play the piano and the violin.
Yes.
Bye
Okay,
bye.
bye. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. That's just tremendous
Thank you.
on so many levels, Ayla. Wow. Firstly, you are rock solid in your rhythms, but you somehow keep a intensity and a drama to it, which is almost unprecedented for someone of your young age. It's very, very impressive indeed.
Thank you.
So you're really interpreting it, but it's not out of control, and it's viciously exciting. Um, I like the tempo. I will keep with you. The orchestra will. And you're also making it very easy for me because you're defining certain beats, even sometimes within the measure, to make me be able to hear very, very clearly what you're doing. And I thank you for that. Very professional. There you go. There you go. It's a tough little corner, that, isn't it? What you might do, and it's just to help a poor conductor, on the downbeat of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14th measure of F, if you would consider just giving me a slight accent on those E's and those C's. Yeah. Because that's where the timpani comes in, the cello, bass and violas come in with a little accent there, and that'll help us just line it up. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Do you want to play from the same place again and just do that? Fantastic. That's not too irritating to do, is it? I think that works, and that'll help us just in case there's any kind of issue with us lining up. That'll correct everything to slot us back into line. You are an exceptional pianist. May I ask how old you are?
I'm 13.
You are an extraordinary musician, Ayla, and it's going to be a real thrill for me to be working with you. I can tell you that.
Thank you so much.
Now, when are you getting on a plane and coming over?
On next Monday, right after an orchestra concert that I have.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna play this piece with an orchestra here that I'm also a part of. So, yeah.
Gotcha. All right. So you'll be, as we say in English, you'll be an old hat at this.
Yes.
Fantastic. Well, we'll see you next week, and safe journeys over. And if you need anything from me, just reach out to my colleagues, and I'll be there for you.
Okay.
All the best.